Tell me, why did you want to run?
So I've always had just a servant's heart. As a kid, I've always been wanting to volunteer with Boy Scouts, church ministries, various outreaches. That led into me joining the Marine Corps after high school. I served as a heavy machine gunner. I was awarded the Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medal with the V device for combat valor during a tour to Iraq. I came back and I served, or I'm still serving as a firefighter. I've been a firefighter the last 11 years. 5 on the northwest side of Houston with Klein Fire and Tomball, and I'm on my 6th year with Bandera Fire. And fall of 2024, I just started hearing this voice, and it was telling me to run. So I talked to my wife about it, and she told me, absolutely not, don't do it. And she came back to me later that day, and she said, hey, I've got to tell you something. I've been praying for good, godly men to step up and run for federal office. And here you are, hearing that call and doing just that. So who am I to tell you no? So she is fully behind me, my biggest bulldog, in my corner.
Yeah. Okay. Can you tell me, what are your top 3 initiatives for your campaign?
Sure. So the top 3 goals for the campaign, number 1 is going to be to codify President Trump's executive orders, because if we don't get that done and we don't have a J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio follow-up as president, and some lefty gets in there, they can just throw away all that work with the swipe of a pen or an auto pen. And all that progress we've made just gets tossed to the side. Number 2 is Chip Roy is leaving some legislation on the table I'd like to pick up and carry forward. Some examples are the SAVE Act for election integrity, and I know that's hitting the House floor again here soon, but if it doesn't, we definitely need to push that through. His ban on congressional stock trading, so politicians stop lining their pockets at our expense. I think that's important to build transparency and trust back in our elected officials. And then lastly is fight against Sharia Law in America. Having served overseas and seen it firsthand, we have these pockets of Sharia popping up in Houston and Dallas, even here in San Antonio, and I don't want to let that happen on my watch. Aside from that, the biggest issue in the district is affordability. So my little slogan is Make America Affordable Again. I want young people to be able to afford houses, live that American dream, and older people not have to worry between healthcare and, say, groceries.
Okay. Can you tell me, in what ways will you work to codify Trump's executive orders here locally?
Yeah, so I think the biggest one that would have a most immediate impact would be Executive Order number 14158, and that relates to DOGE and making those cuts permanent. I think if we can get rid of a lot of that fraud, waste, and abuse, you'll see that in your bottom line, in your back pocket.
When you're looking at the average voter who may not want to sift through 14 candidates, can you tell me how you're working to set your campaign apart from the other people running, especially one who's backed by President Trump and Governor Abbott?
Yeah, so it's a lot of work, and I get it. All our mailboxes are inundated with flyers, and we get all the text messages and stuff, but we're just putting in the work on the ground. We're making phone calls, we're knocking on doors. We have an innovative platform that we use that allows us to add friends. So it's not just me asking for your vote, it's somebody you know personally that is asking you to vote for me on my behalf.
In what ways do you feel like you appeal to the voter in South Texas?
I think here in District 21, most of the district is rural. So, what we have now in DC isn't working. It's lawyers who get caught up on the definition of what is, whereas a layperson like myself, I'm just a Marine Corps veteran, a firefighter, a rancher. I want to keep things simple. I want simple, single issue bills, one page if we can keep it to one page that anybody can understand. We all vote on it, it's public record, and then when we come home to the district, you can hold me accountable to that. So that, and just the being a servant. Like I said, if a fire drops in Bandera County, you're going to see me at your door, being your neighbor there to help you out.
When it comes to those big ticket items, can you talk about your stance on healthcare, on taxes, on education?
Absolutely. So for healthcare, I think Obamacare was a mistake. I'd like to work to repeal a lot of it, open up insurance across state lines, put the money back in your pocket to decide where it goes, transparency in pricing. I think that'll go a long way into lowering our healthcare costs, just putting it back in the market as opposed to having government control. For taxes, again, I'd like to work towards abolishing the IRS, abolishing the income tax, the payroll taxes. That way, again, you keep your money, you get to decide where to put it and what's best. On education, I'd like to abolish the Department of Education. I think if we look at the statistics that we've thrown money at the problem and it has not made a difference. So returning that back to the states and empowering parents to make decisions on their children's education is the path we need to go to. So having the money follow the student with no strings attached from government is my position there. And then on things like abortion, I'm an abolitionist. So I understand it's more of a states' right issue. I'm a big believer in the 10th Amendment, but I will do everything I can at the federal level to abolish it and protect life. On the Second Amendment, I've been endorsed by Brandon Herrera and Texas Gun Rights. So I'm an absolutist. I think the founders said it perfectly. Shall not be infringed means just that. So I won't just work to defend your Second Amendment. I'll work to restore it back to the founders' intent. And then for another big ticket item in the district is our veterans. Having walked in those boots, I'll make sure that VA hospitals deliver, not delay.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to add about your campaign, about this race?
Yeah, I'd like to I think a lot of people don't know that I've got the deepest roots in this district. So my 7th great-grandmother settled in Fredericksburg. My 3rd great-uncle was Jose Policarpo Rodriguez. He built Polly's Chapel and Polly's Schoolhouse in the Pipe Creek area of Bandera County. And I was born and raised in San Marcos. So this district isn't just, lines on a map for me. It's home.
Cool. All right. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I'd appreciate your vote on March 3rd, or if you vote early. So you can learn more at zekefortexas.com. There's ways to contact me. I'm always happy to talk to our constituents.